Hello.
Hey Zombie Grub, how you doing? Oh, my camera is up in the air. There we go. Alright, good evening, one and all. I don't know what time it is for everybody tuning in, but it is 1 a.m. here on the west coast of Canada. Hype! Zombie Grub is not at a PC bong for once. It's a bit weird to see. How's your little cozy abode?
Same as usual. Small, cozy.
Is it? So I was actually wondering. I saw your video. Is it one of these things where, like, if you just reached your arms out, like left to right, could you touch each side of your apartment?
So there's the shower, thing here. I can touch that. I can almost reach the other wall.
So Alma, it is pretty dang small. I could not live in that little thing, man.
Probably not, because the biggest. You know how like we once complained together about the whole chair going against the bed thing?
Yeah.
So you had like just imagine that, but like everything you do in your room.
So no bueno is what I'm hearing. All right,
Yeah.
well, let's talk about what's going on tonight. Why are we up so early? Well, it's for an IEM Korean qualifier. I can't tell you how to pronounce the name of it. It's Gyeonggi
Gyeonggi.
Gone Girl? I don't know. Gyeonggi. So Gyeonggi is probably the closest I'm going to come to it. They're seeding the qualifier slots as we speak, so currently nothing is readily available. But as soon as the brackets are up, we've updated the bracket command in chat, so you'll be able to see them. Hopefully by the time you're hearing this off the delay. They are asking we use 3 minutes of delay, totally normal practice and understandable. So we'll be having a bit of, I guess, time distortions today. But yeah, hopefully we'll be getting going sooner than later. A lot of foreigners actually in chat today, which is kind of cool. Well, this is on the Korean server. We still see people like Scarlett, who I guess isn't so crazy. She's back in Korea. No regret as well, living in Korea. Although I think he's casting. I don't think he's playing.
Really?
Kelazor, Snoot, a couple of others. This should make for a very, very interesting bracket. True, who I think is in North America still as well. I'm not sure if he's gone back to Korea for the holidays or not.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I'm curious on something. Would you mute your mic for just 1 second? It is on your end. There's some sort of buzzing going on.
Oh, buzzing.
Yeah. Is your microphone touching something that's vibrating, maybe? Like the fan of your computer or something? I don't know. Well, whilst she fiddles, I am spamming refresh, checking to see when the brackets will be available. Oh my Jesus Christ! That is a loud and amazing way to start the stream. Who was that? That's Fricey! Fricey! Dude, what the fuck? This dude just donated $200 and we haven't even started the show yet. I have no idea what's going on, but thank you so much, Fricey! I'm probably saying your name really badly, and I'm probably butchering it incorrectly. Please do me a favor and let me know how to phonetically pronounce that so I can properly thank you for the generous $200 that kicks off our day. What the fuck? He's
Okay,
like,
well.
I'm all capsing in chat with him. Unfortunately, there's 3 minutes of delay, so he's going to see our hype in real time, but a little bit later. While you were fiddling with things, yeah, Fricey just threw $200 our way. That's really generous, man. Thank you so much.
That's impressive. Did that fix anything?
Yes, no more buzzing.
Oh, okay, cool. Hold on then.
So good start, I guess. What was it?
Yeah. Okay. It was probably just touching the laptop.
Oh, okay. So your setup is you're using a laptop and a monitor, right?
Correct.
So you'll have 2 monitors for once. How good does that feel?
Not that good, actually. I mean, this is what I had for that first day when I cast, and it's better than 1 monitor, but the laptop monitor is so small, it's really not that useful.
Oh, okay. What's it be awkward, I guess. Thank you, by the way, to Lilin Sui for the 6-month resub. We have the ESL referee in-game updating us, telling us just a couple more minutes and the brackets should be available. So hopefully they'll be ready soon.
I love my big bottle of water. Makes you feel like a Korean streamer.
Okay. So, by the way, Secretary Sakil in chat is saying, it's 1 a.m. where Rifkin is. How is he not dead as fuck? Well, you see, I foolishly tried to bike 10K today after not biking in such a long time. And I came home absolutely wasted. I almost got hit by a car, too, and bought some Girl Glide cookies. It was a whole adventure. But I came home wasted and passed out for 7 hours. So I only woke up like 2 hours ago. I'm actually feeling quite chipper for once at 1 a.m. This doesn't happen often. But it is worth also noting, 1 a.m., 5 a.m., these times are great for me. I can wake up around these times, no problem. But waking up 4, 3 a.m., like the in-between of those two times, is for some reason like the devil's hour. I can't do it. It's so difficult. And that's why during the Alima League, me whine about how tired I am rather regularly. 1 a.m., honestly not so bad. Wait, Scarlett's in this? Yeah, Scarlett's in chat at least. I have no idea how much she's planning to participate. Maybe goes all the way, maybe doesn't.
She didn't mention WCA at all when I was talking with her.
Ooh.
So I don't know what that's about.
Well, it was also, we learned when we were casting WCA qualifiers, a lot of the players don't take WCA seriously because I guess there's a lot of payouts missing from the last couple of years. So it may simply be like, yeah, WCA is there if I got nothing better to do.
But what is the WCA thing that everyone's been talking about?
The World Cyber Arena? We cast the qualifiers for that in Europe, remember?
Oh, I know what it is, but I mean, why does everyone say that it's today?
Oh, beats me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm confused about, because I'm looking and I don't see anything about it. I feel like someone looked at the days and then they changed it, or it's always a miscommunicated. I don't know. It doesn't happen until the 15th? Oh, okay, that's okay. So I guess the question is, if WCA finals are on the same weekend as IEM finals, then why is she bothering trying to qualify?
I think IEM's going to have better payout anyways, because this is part of the WCS circuit, which does need to be noted. Even though WCS plans haven't been announced and there's technically nothing for 2017 still, these are yet somehow part of the circuit. It's kind of like what happened last year. It is what it is. But hey, it's a WCS event, so this carries a lot of weight to it. Frizy tells me I was saying his name kind of correctly, so Frizy. Okay, nailed it. Keep that in mind for the future. I will give this guy an extra shout out, by the way, because this guy is seriously like a stream hero. I've seen him on a lot of other people's streams, being a very generous guy. So really, if you see him in chat, guys, give him some love. Because chances are some of your other favorite streamers, he's supported as well. Thank you, Treeline, for the 18-month resub as well. A nice way to kick off our day. Resubs and donations. Ooh, feels good, man. Yep. There's a lot of streamers for this, by the way. Normally, I think what's interesting is you've got your handful of the regular crew. Like, oh, it's Wardy, it's Rifkin, it's BaseTradeTV, like all that stuff. However, you don't actually normally have that many alternate streamers. And what I mean by this is, like, you've got Crank and Golden both casting different matches in Korean. You've got Take TV showing up this hour in German. Like, there's actually quite a few streams that are going to be covering the matches today.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
a lot of streams.
Well, obviously, we'll be very happy if you stick with ours. We thank you guys in advance. Hearts and all that.
No. Go away. Leave us alone.
No, don't
cast to no one in peace.
Don't tsundere this or whatever it's called. Like, we want them here, okay? Tsundere, yeah, we want you guys here. Don't listen to Zombie Girl.
Butchered it.
All I know is Yandere, okay? That's the only one I need to know, I feel, too.
It's the best one.
It's the craziest one. Do me a favor, though, guys. If you've got Twitter, retweet that we're live with the qualifiers. We just made a tweet. I would really appreciate it. Thank you in advance as well to Intel, aka IEM, actually just retweeted us as well. That's pretty cool. That's pretty nifty.
Cool. Nifters. The bracket's still not up. Not nifters.
I mean, I guess in fairness, they weren't expecting so many people to show up, maybe. Or no, IEM's always had rather large turnouts for their qualifiers, so I take that back, actually. I'm not sure what would be the hiccup here. There are 2 admins online, so what's nice to know is that there should not be any hiccups in the actual production of the event itself. IEM actually, as notorious as like a lot of the qualifiers and events have been for like delays and starts, IEM's actually been one of the better ones as far as like getting the ball rolling. And on Korea especially, they've been usually pretty quick because the Korean players are very, we'll say, efficient, but also like professional, and I think used to just doing these events. So it's like bim bam boom, invite go type thing.
Yeah, they're like the sometimes they're not professional, of course. So like they're kind of like the opposite of professional types, though. Like Americans take a long time, but maybe they get all the casters in, maybe they still don't. Koreans don't take any time at all, but as a consequence, sometimes miss out on either all the casters, maybe on
Well,
purpose, or like one or two of the casters.
as I said in the broadcast earlier today, I just hope we get to cast a little bit of Maru. He's always really fun to watch, and I think on the new patch he'll be exceptionally interesting, but we'll see if we can get into any of those games or not. Bino, as the chat says, I just want you to know that I've been a long-time lurker, and this is the first time I've seen a show at 2 a.m. in the States. Keep up the great work. I have no money to donate, but I thought any good words are still nice to hear. BaseTradeTV. Yes, actually, you don't undervalue words, guys. I regularly have slews of bad words thrown at me. It is quite nice once in a blue moon to get some nice ones. So thank you, Binaz. And honestly, it's like, obviously it's great if you guys can donate and subscribe, you know, it helps drive the channel, but tuning in and watching helps out a lot too. Just being here is awesome. So thank you as well, whether you're lurking or actively in chat.
Hey, well, the brackets were made.
Yeah.
Step forward here.
Spammy refresh.
But there's no one in it.
Yeah. If you guys, by the time you're hearing this, hopefully they'll be up, because again, 3-minute delay on stream, so type !! brackets in chat. It should take you to the bracket page.
This might be awkward.
What's that?
So I should have asked Scarlett. I was like, aren't you playing at WCA too? And she thought it was the weekend before IEM.
Oh. I still think that WCS points carry a lot of weight to them. I don't know about WCA. I don't know a lot about it. We were supposed to be invited back to CAS, but we've not been, so I am of the opinion, screw WCA.
It's the 15th to the 18th. Isn't that when... Because that's why I'm leaving on the 20th of December, so I can go to IEM. Awkward. I mean, I kind of agree with the WCS points, but I guess it's really hard to think that far into the future in general, but also when you don't know, like, what if Scarlett's actually kicked out of Korea or some shit, and these only count towards the Korean points again? Like, who knows what it's gonna look like?
What's that, Zombie Grub? Scarlett's been kicked out of Korea? Insider information confirmed?
Yeah, she stole something and got caught on camera, and they just kicked her out.
Was it your heart?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Put it in my pocket and save it for later there.
That is actually pretty good. So yeah, she didn't know they were the same weekend. So awkward.
How far apart are they? Like, is it in Europe? Can she, like, bounce from one region to the other fast enough? Like,
the WCA finals is gonna be in Beijing. I mean,
that's
it's not
not
as far
too
away.
far from Korea.
It's still like a 3-hour flight, isn't it?
I'm just saying.
Probably around the same times.
I wonder if, like, minimum prize payouts for both tournaments, playing them both would make it worth it, right? Like, like, you qualify just enough to drop out of WCA to make it back in time to play in IEM. I don't think that does any good for anybody's mental state, but, you know.
I wonder what she's gonna choose. Oh, well.
Oh, it feels bad, man. When does this start? When do matches start? When Rickon stops talking? Oh. Actually, we are still waiting. So, again, the brackets are kind of up at the time of us saying this. Again, we're 3 minutes behind you guys hearing us live on the stream, but as soon as the matches are available, we're going to hop into it. We don't, believe it or not, guys, this is like a secret, so don't tell anybody. But believe it or not, we don't love downtime. We don't actually like sitting here making awkward small talk. And if you are willing to believe that, you might be willing to believe this. We prefer to cast games whenever we're given the opportunity. But don't tell anybody, because I don't want our good reputation tarnished.
Yeah, exactly. Our good reputation of never casting any games. So another awkward thing is I don't think Kelazur realized this either.
Need to screen region this ban I'm about to lay down, by the way. It's always bad. You gotta do it like this.
What?
Goodbye, penguin. Anyone who likes pepperoni, or not pepperoni, anyone who likes pineapple on their pizza is not welcome in this chat, okay?
I'm in this chat. I like pineapple on my pizza. No, you can't ban me.
Oh, too late. Zombie's not banned for this room.
I didn't even get a notification.
Let me unban you. And now I gotta remind you. See, the worst part is like when you want to joke ban somebody, it's so much work to like reinstate them. Oh, I don't know, that stuff happens. No, pepperoni, fine. Ham, fine. Anything.
Oh,
Hell,
ham's
vegetables, fine. But don't put pineapple on your dang pizza.
Oh, it's outside. Okay, that's still really cute. Apparently there's a cat outside of Scarlett's apartment.
Aw.
I'm jealous.
So what are Kellizer? Do you have any updates like what Kellizer and Scarlett are going to do to get around this? This awkward
No.
issue.
I asked Kellizer, but he hasn't responded yet. So I don't know. I mean, what's like, there's no way that they will possibly be allowed to like continue. Like, it's one thing to qualify for both tournaments and then be like, oh shit, but it's another thing to be like, well, technically I can play on the first day of IEM and see if I win, and if I don't, so to WCA the next day. I don't think that's gonna be allowed.
I actually don't see anything wrong with that personally, but from an organization standpoint, I think I would, like, if this was our tournament, I'd step in, right? But from a player point of view, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Well, player point of view should consider that they be dicking over one of the tournaments to be like, hey, we're gonna have Scarlet. JK, no, we're not. In the last day.
Yeah. Well, that's up to them to figure out, I guess. The ESL admin is telling us to wait for a little bit more time, please. I'm not sure if they're just really being meticulous with seating or what the plan is, but yeah, a little bit awkward. In the meantime, we got a brand new sub. Man, I love this. We got people subbing to us for doing nothing but sitting here and talking about jack all. Absurd devolution. Or absurd evolution, excuse me. Thank you for the new sub.
Buddy.
Hey, it's 1 a.m. That's my excuse. Man, that bottle of water is so big. Are you going to drink that whole thing before the end of the cast?
Probably. I drank a ton of water. I didn't buy it because I was like, my plan is to drink the whole thing. But since there's no other drinks available, maybe. I can go downstairs. Like, oh my god, going... Okay, so it's really cool that this place provides food and water and a washer. Like, super cool, right? Because not a lot of other places would provide the food. But the problem is that I have to go downstairs, which means I got to put my shoes on out front, and then go downstairs, take them off, get whatever I wanted from the kitchen, put them back on, take them back off, back up here, because I didn't bother with slippers.
You make this sound like so much more work than I feel it actually is.
Oh no, it's like super annoying because of course I don't have slippers. I have to like actually put my shoes on.
Hit refresh. We're starting to see people generate into the brackets. I don't know if they're set yet, but all matches are best of 3 today. And we already have like what looks to be Leenock and HerO like right off the bat. That could be really good to see. All
right.
Seed versus Forte. I'm trying to see what other ones are. I don't know if these are final as I read them. Sue versus Tails. Dragon versus other hero. CJ HerO, that is. Innovation versus Jockshi. Oh, that's going to be a sexy TVD. Actually, the whole bracket's TVD because the other part of it is Alive versus Natural. So they like their first share TVT. It looks like Norgut's actually competing. I thought he was just streaming. He's playing against Buell in the first round. Dark plays against Scarlet. Ooh, my. Impact versus Kelazur. Ooh. Even Neeb sitting there at the top of the bracket, too. If these are the correct brackets and they don't change, I'm thinking Leenock and X Liquid HerO look to be a pretty good starter match. What do you think?
Sure. Old school.
Oh, in round 3 you might have Maru versus Dream.
Pretty cool.
Alright, well, just so you guys are aware, there is a priority list of things on the casting totem pole. If, for any reason, we pick a match that ESL would also like to cast, we won't be able to cover it. We'll have to find another game. It's standard practice, so if you hear us complain, it's just because we're complaining and not because there's any ill will. It's just how things have been set.
Yeah, it's because we're a bunch of complainers.
But let's see here. Leenock. So Leenock and I think HerO are our plan A. Some plan Bs. I mean, as much as it might not be the most thrilling matchup, Sue versus Tails could be kind of interesting too. As our backup.
Maybe. be. I don't know. Man, Beyond is qualified for both tournaments too. Everyone's playing an IEM and WCA. People are crazy. Oh, Scarlet versus... Wait.
So yeah, I'm not sure if that's dark or if that's like a South American dark that we've not seen before.
Right?
Yeah, we're waiting to see what the ESL mainstream wants to cast before we try locking all this stuff down, guys. Creators apparently in the bracket. I didn't see him when I was scrolling through.
Control F? Yeah, Creator Prime against a Chinese guy.
Oh, who's Curious facing off against? Who's Kim Dong-hyuk? Kim Dok-hyung.
Kim Do. I can look it up or try to. It's worked before. It takes me to Wikipedia. No one famous enough to be Kim Do. Oh no, it is actually Kim Do Kyung is Billowy.
Ah, Billy's not too bad. Yeah, we don't know what the mainstream is going to cast, so we really want Leenock versus HerO, but a couple other people do too, so I'm thinking that might be a match we should put to the side as we try and find another option. So yeah, Curious versus Billowy might not be too bad. Ryung versus Keen's a TVT we've seen a couple of times. Salvation and Seed. Forte versus Seed. Although Seed's kind of like semi-retired, I think now, right?
Did he officially retire? I don't know. Well.
Okay, I'm just gonna write in chat. We'd like to cast HerO versus Leenock with Sue versus Tails as a plan B in case ESL is casting it.
Oh, Sue versus Tails.
I messaged Sue to see. He hasn't replied yet. For those who don't know, I know that there are some pretty big names in the bracket, like, again, Maru and Innovation and some that you're going to really want to see, and we will hopefully see them as the bracket goes on. But these are also a lot of TVTs. There's like a lot of TVTs in the central part of the bracket. So we're going to try and grab some of the non-mirror matchups to start if we can. Okay, ESL's casting Innovation versus Jakshi. So let's see if we get Leenock to respond.
Okay.
I don't know which HerO to message here. I guess Revolution HerO?
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, he's got a capital H. I'm going to go for it.
Okay. Good job.
I tried to specify we like to cast your game versus Leenock. So hopefully if it's the wrong one, he's like, oh, I'm not playing Leenock. You've got the wrong guy.
Yeah. I think that is the right guy to message. I mean.
Okay, they're saying now they're vetoing. Cool. So.
Cool.
Awesome. So we'll wish Sue the best of luck. I think Sue's actually going to do pretty well. I've had a really good time watching him lately, especially with the Alima League and such. He's been streaming like a beast. We got a donation coming in from Absurd. I'm assuming this is Mr. Absurd Evolution, whose name I can't pronounce properly. Weird. Donates $25. Another really generous donation. Says thank you. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
But okay, so HerO and Leenock, hopefully we'll even be able to host. Actually, are you going to be able to host? I don't know. Like, can you see maps on that computer? Or no?
I can host. This is in English, good sir. Isn't that amazing? English.
Yeah. Also, someone in chat brings up a great point. Dark was invited, so of course that's not going to be the actual Dark that we know. I kind of forgot they did 4 invites for IEM. I think it was like, what, Dark, Byun. They listed them somewhere, or somebody announced something.
Yeah. I had the page up. Do I still have it up? Oh, I still do have it up. Genius.
Nice.
Stats and Zest.
Of course.
Of course.
So let's talk a little bit about this potential matchup. HerO, last time we saw him, still on Team Liquid, but this was a couple months ago in the Alima League. However, HerO was fully embracing Protoss cheese to its fullest potential, and actually winning quite a few games with it. Like you sit there going like, how's this working? But it's working. So I know some people in chat are already saying HerO's not looking that good lately. I don't know how he's looking. We haven't seen him in 2.5 months. But with a new patch coming out, I really am just gonna throw everything out the door. It can go either way.
Well, I mean, HerO, I don't know what he looks like. I also don't know really what Leenock looks like. As far as I remember from casting him, and the few off chances we got to, it wasn't that convincing either. This is seriously like a super old school matchup. Both these guys are not in their highlight years. Maybe the new patch will change that up, and Leenock's actually gonna be amazing with Hydras. I don't know, but it seems like kind of well matched as long as HerO's been practicing.
All right, Leenock invited me. We'll whine about hosting later. Let's just get this first game going, I think. Get the game plan. Of course, I forgot, Crank is not solo casting. Crank is casting with Alicia and possibly even Ryung later, depending on how he does in his brackets. Crank and Alicia are doing that TV Crank thing. I kind of keep forgetting is not just Crank. Again, Golden's also casting in Korea, and there's a lot of alternate options for streams. If you look on the Team Liquid sidebar, actually, you can find all the streams. Let me just screen region this for you guys. So you got ESL TV, I think it's Caleris and Todd, if I'm not mistaken, casting. You got us and BaseTradeTV. What's up? Dragon's playing, not casting. You got Golden casting. Cats, I think, is playing, not casting, but might cast later. Crank is casting in Korean. You got Emil in Polish, I believe. Naruto in German. Wardy in English. Belair, I don't know them. Probably German, I guess. Screw this guy. And Baby Magic in Russian. So that's pretty much everybody. But looks like we're getting this party started as we hop into Whirlwind. Now, we have been casting new patch games, but it has been through the Top Dogs tournament hosted by O Gaming. And those have been on the old patch, or sorry, excuse me, the new patch, but the old map pool. These are all going to be on the new map pool.
Yeah, and it's a dream pool.
Yeah, it's like, I say new map pool in like air quotes. Like it's not really a
Yep. Good times.
Where is... I gotta move the IEM logo slightly. Where did I put that on here?
Do we know if we're going to be casting to the very end? We have to be, right? Because round of 8 is the very end.
Yeah, I know ESL is going to start controlling some of the matches later on. We'll find out if we get knocked out early or if we go all the way. I'm assuming we go all the way because there's no reason to do it, make it a 12-hour broadcast, but sometimes they like to. So we'll find out. But ladies and gentlemen, we are getting into game number 1, brand new best of 3 here for the IEM Qualifiers. Spawning in the bottom left side of the map, we've got the red Zerg player. It's Leenock.
In the top left, as the blue Protoss, he is HerO.
Now, this is ex-Team Liquid's HerO, to avoid confusion, so not CJ HerO, who is also playing in the brackets elsewhere. And this is on the new patch, so Banelings have a little bit more health, Adepts have a little bit less vision, and several other minor tweaks and changes here and there. I think the biggest ones we're seeing, though, out of everything we've been casting, of course, will be the tweaks to the Hydras, and I'm imagining Leenock is going to go down that road. That's not to say Banelings and Zerglings like we saw pre-patch are no longer viable. They certainly still are. It's just that extra range and especially the movement speed on creep for the Hydras seems to be way too powerful.
They're pretty good units. I don't know exactly what Protoss is meant to do here, but HerO is really digging deep into the past, which makes sense, I suppose, on Whirlwind.
Yeah, Forge.
The Forge fast expand? Okay. I mean, the Forge gave you early game defense, and it gave you faster upgrades. You would have, like, literally builds based off having +1 really quickly. And it also gave you the ability to cannon rush, which I guess he is going to try and do, seeing that Leenock is not going to be able to see this, isn't looking for it, and unbeknownst to him, Leenock also is going for like a 3rd hatchery already.
Yeah, it's about as greedy as it gets, too, when it comes to that. Now, the creep's not going to spread far enough, so this still might shut down the hatchery. He needs to get 2 cannons down. One's not going to be enough. There we go, 2nd cannon comes down. I'm not sure if he'll go over to the 3rd, or maybe he'll stick around the natural for a bit longer, but the drones are being pulled, and I don't believe there's enough surface area to shut this down in its entirety. In fact, no, especially with that pylon blocking it out. Nice moves there out of HerO, trapping that one drone in, too.
Yeah. I mean, the Ling's already being out, a Queen already on the way. If, you know, he got here sooner, maybe, but it's unfortunately going to be way too many cannons, even if you do have attacking units already out, so...
He did get them really low. Like, one of these cannons is going to go down. Two of the cannons might even go down. Oh, my.
Yeah, sure. And then one cannon is certainly enough to make it a pain to clean up, but now with only one cannon, maybe you can clean it up. It, I think, is going to be a failed cannon rush.
I think the queen can also outrange the cannon to that pylon if... Oh, that's not the direction they're going to go, though. Lane's going to surround the cannon. It looks like this should be dealt with, so this isn't going to get too out of hand. This did force out a lot of extra lanes instead of pure droning, but I don't know if that's enough.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I mean, if the second cannon finishes, or second cannon is, like, healthy enough to help out the first one, and this is, like, obviously twice the headache, and maybe more damage is done by, you know, less droning, but Leenock made a pretty correct amount of lings there. Now he has enough to at least, you know, control the map, and he does have that third base already down and ready to go, so even if his mining wasn't out of the natural for some time, but he saved the hatchery anyway, he would have been mining off that third base, and HerO, I just don't know about the Forge Faxis fan, because I was bringing it up before we saw the cannon rush, right? It gives you that ability to cannon rush and scare your opponent. That's cool. But the other things you would get would be the early game defense and the +1, but I don't know if any builds in Legacy of the Void incorporate a super fast +1, and cannons aren't as good a defense as they were because Corrosive Biles exists. Maybe that's not a big deal. I mean, maybe he just, you know, has the Forge and eventually will use it, because he actually hasn't even put down cannons yet, defensively.
Well, Stargate leads to a couple of very important tech paths, but oh no. This Overlord turning into the Drop Overlord, there's not really much in the main, and with the Stargate prioritizing the gas and no Mothership core in play, there's not going to be an easy way to deal with these lings.
Well, the Stargate will be able to clean up the Overlord so there isn't the second attack of Lings, which is the good news, but you're right, the first attack might just do a lot of damage. Lings get in the main base, the Adept now reacts. It's still a lot of Lings, so there has to be 2 Adepts, and they have to be controlled pretty correctly, and they are so far. Not too much damage done. The game continues. Leenock getting a lair. He is investing in a +1 melee, so he brought up all those units that have been buffed, like the Baneling and the Hydralisk. And I gotta imagine that's where he's headed, but he's still like sticking to kind of an old school, I guess, opener. You know, seeing sort of yesterday, he was going for some pretty fast Hydras, and of course opening with Roaches too. Most of the games.
Alright, sorry about the silence. I had to go apparently set bets manually as the mods were all asleep. Feels bad, man. But, there you go. Now they're up. Now they're running. Close them up pretty quick.
This is... Huh. I didn't even notice this, but it's almost already done. +1 armor as opposed to +1 attack.
The armor will certainly help more against the Lings, I suppose, if that's what he's really, really worried about, but... Man, it's interesting to see that as the priority. The macro hatchery coming down at the 3rd, and especially with the Ling spam coming out. I mentioned Hydras earlier, but I'm way off base. This is just going to be Lings, more Lings, and maybe at some point we see that Baneling nest come down, but for now it's just Lings.
He might go Baneling Hydralisk. Like, it could still happen, especially as his economy really gets up and ready to go. So there is the Hydralisk done now, and maybe the Baneling nest will be added on later, or maybe just pure Lings. I mean, the point is, something's going to provide fodder, and then the Banelings... Maybe you can't afford going both with the gases that you have, but Leenock is getting to that pretty good saturation, almost at 60 drones, getting all of his gases now. Should be able to get a 4th base. I mean, Leenock has been in control of this game for a pretty good amount of time. Like, that cannon rush, like, looked scary because there's so much going down, but even that, he cleaned up and is denying HerO's 3rd.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not quite.
Adepts, again, it's kind of scary. You got the Mothership core there with the overcharge, maybe a little bit too much. Needs to warp in a little bit behind that Zealot. Alone won't be enough. Adept numbers are kind of low.
And more importantly, they have to chase the Lings if they do get past there. So the warp-ins are good, but it's still scary. Like, those Lings are going to have +2 eventually. Like, pretty quickly, really, in the grand scheme of things. The Hydras are getting that range upgrade first. And the Baneling nest is now on the way. So it really is a question to me, like, can you afford all these Banelings plus all the Hydras? But I think you can.
So it is worth noting, just because hearing a lot of talk about the Hydras, maybe you haven't actually seen them in action. They did not get an attack speed boost. They did not get an attack damage boost, but they did get the range boost. And that's a big part of why they're so deadly now. Attack from much, much further away. Now, that being said, with the Baneling nest on the way, it's also worth noting Banelings do not immediately get 10 extra health. You actually have to research the speed upgrade, and it pairs with that upgrade.
I really wonder why they gave it that upgrade.
Catch the Hydras.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake by Leenock. I actually don't know what they were doing. Maybe looking for a Warp Prism off to the left, but they need to be in higher numbers and protected by Lings.
Yeah, I mean, even as the Lings coming now, these Adepts trading out for as many Hydras that they have, kind of making it worthwhile. However, it is worth noting for HerO, this is the majority of his army supply here on the map right now. If he loses all these Adepts, it's really going to get him killed. But he does capitalize on this, and nicely done at that.
Yeah, I mean, Leenock was just trying to buy time to make sure that the drones didn't start dying. You know, you get the Hydras and the drones because you just, left the Hydras without moving. Now there's plenty of Hydras.
This transfer's questionable. It's going to kill those Adepts, and this, again, goes right back to the fact that HerO just doesn't have a lot of supply behind this. With these Adepts gone, he's going to be down to like 12 army supply.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. And the Hydras, of course, microing against them now they have that range done. Baneling speed is on the way, and Baneling health increase. Like, do we have to call it two different things now?
It's still, it's 2 in 1. It's centrifugal hooks.
Yeah, but it's only been Baneling speed, and that's just not accurate anymore.
Well, Blink for the Stalkers coming out. DTs being made. Nothing to snipe Overseers. I don't see this working. In fact, the Banelings might even be able to just manually detonate and kill the Dark Templar. If there are any, it's going to be Archons instead, and this just does not look good for HerO.
No, it does not. At least he's kind of matching the upgrades, but here comes the roly-poly in like 5 seconds. Leenock actually pushes in a little bit too prematurely, but at least I guess this can just waste the potent overcharge.
This base is a pretty important one. The overcharges are going to go down. Baneling's on hold position. Nothing really willing to move into the wrong spot for those force fields to catch them.
God.
As they move up, there's nothing to defend this base. So single cannon. That's 21 probes that are going to die.
It's crazy that the Hydras are just like tacking over those force fields. Like the forces kind of start working against HerO. He puts him down for the Banelings and tries to cut off a couple of Hydras, but still can't reach the Hydras.
So he saved an astounding amount of probes through this. In the meantime, 2 DTs on the other side of the map have killed about 11 drones together. Warp Prism's probably going to go down, but I mean, I still wouldn't say HerO's in a recovered spot yet. Still working on 24 army supply. He's playing really well with the very few amount of units he has, but it is still just that, like a very few amount of units.
Yeah. Leenock was also using his army like a little bit awkwardly. Like, he went for the cannon with his Banelings opposed to the army. Looked really tempting. I guess he was just trying to bait out the force field so there'd be none for the second attack, which is not a bad move. And this will probably ensure the second attack is like the killing blow. He's got +1 on his missile, finally. And the Banelings... Oh, that's a nice force field to stop the Banelings. The Hydras, here they go kiting the Adepts. No retreat.
Focus fire on the Banelings has actually been pretty sweet so far. That being said, the Hydras are still a really big issue. That Baneling takes out all the sentries, and there's just nothing left. HerO, you held on for as long as you could, but GG's get called, and Leenock going to take the first game in this best of 3.
Yeah, and in pretty dominating fashion, too. I don't know how much of that you can blame on the cannon rush, although certainly some of it. But also just... not a lot of Protosses know what to do against the new and improved Ling Hydra. Baneling Hydra.
Let me see if we can get the host ability here from Leenock. That way we can get some excellent mod action with WCS. Daybreak, if you wouldn't mind hosting, madam.
Okay. I'll host Daybreak.
I know, it feels so weird, like, where are we?
What year is it? 2011? 2013? 2015? Dreampool?
It's 2016 Zombie Grub. Get it together.
Okay. Of course, I have to remember all the other casters that were in there.
It's just Crank and us, I believe.
Was it? Was Crank Alicia? Us?
Yeah, Crank Alicia and us. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Oh, hopefully
Let me
you're
just
right.
ask, anyone else for HerO versus Leenock Game 2? If nobody says anything, we just go. Easy peasy. No guilt, lemon squeezy.
You alright then?
Alright. Why is Alicia spamming go-go? Alicia, you're not a player anymore. Stop that.
It's habit.
It does seem to be like a Korean thing to do. Again, like watching Innovation during the VSL finals, just spam go-go in a lobby that's like not even got anyone but him and the admin in it.
It's Just gotta make sure everyone knows he's ready to go, 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 go.
It's ready to play all the time, always. Down to party, bro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, game number 2, spawning in the bottom left side of Daybreak. And it's going to be the red Zerg Leenock.
In the top right, has the blue Protoss, he is HerO.
So funny enough, for me, this is like another map where cannon rushing maybe is an option. I'm not saying it's a good one, but we consider a lot of the old maps. Every game started in this era with like Forge Fast expands, and part of that back then, you didn't have 12 workers to start with. You didn't have a lot of extra money floating around. When Legacy came out, we actually saw a lot of cannon rushes because, well, frankly, you could afford to do it. I feel like combination old maps and the money we have nowadays, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more cannon rushes, but this game is going to be a gateway opening.
I mean, the only thing that really benefits from the old maps is maybe 1 or 2 of them did have those really tricky locations where you put the like 2 pylons down and it blocks off the drones entirely. I forget which map that was, but I think more of it was just that, like, you knew where to put the cannons down. Like, it is so well practiced from the years, that's why you feel a little more confident. But I really don't think cannon rushing is going to become, like, coming back into the meta. It is going to be that once-off build that HerO does or Mana does, like yesterday, that maybe catches the Zerg off guard because they don't react 100% appropriately.
No,
By the way,
I don't think it's going to be new meta, but it is kind of cool. Just things are new. Things are shaken up. You can definitely get a free win here and there with them, I feel, depending on who you're playing against.
Yeah, thanks to Root Flyer for the awesome suggestion. Just call him the Bane Boost upgrade. I like that. That's what I'm going to do.
The Bane Boost. Those Banelings have a nice boost, eh? Yeah, very big.
You kind of went, like, Korean at the end. What was that?
Really? I was aiming for just more, like, generally European.
Well, you were like, first you were just doing European who knows English very well, and then you did some accent doesn't know English very well.
Are you saying Koreans don't know English very well, Zombie Grub? Because I find that a little bit inaccurate and maybe even offensive.
No, I'm pretty sure I was pretty clear with what I meant. A European who knows English well, and a Korean who doesn't know English well. It was pretty specific.
So, by the way, bets are closed at this point. Where are we at here? We got 3,100 Partoofs placed on HerO, winning this best of 3. And 5,400 on Leenock.
Alright. I mean, as I said, like, both of these guys aren't in the limelight anymore. HerO only has, like, recently come back, and that's definitely going to put him a little bit lower. But if he's really practicing, then maybe not. I think, though, on top of that, with the way that the patch has, you know, it's brand new and the Protoss are having such a good time, that's what really should make the bets probably be like 6,000 to 1,000 or something like that. But yeah, that sounds as I guess predictable too, because there's also a lot of HerO fans. I would say there's a lot more HerO fans that are going to stick to their guns for the rest of the time and be like, look what HerO's era was the greatest, as opposed to Leenock's fans. And I don't know what that is. What is about that? I mean, Leenock had a good personality. He had a fun style of play.
Actually,
he was, you know, against Naniwal. Like, that was a pretty good rivalry. But I just feel like he didn't leave that much more of an impact as HerO did.
Well, HerO also did have the, I'm going to say fortune, not luck, but like fortune of being on Team Liquid. And Team Liquid did bring us like a certain level of hype to it. Like, doesn't matter who the player is. When you see a Team Liquid tag name, like, you know it's probably going to be a good game.
That's true. I mean, Leenock on FXO is not
FXO, then some like random Chinese team, like, was it like Wei Spider or something for a while? Like,
yeah, he's not going to stand the test of time.
Well, HerO's going to chase around a couple overlords around the map, follow up with the Oracle. A much faster Baneling Nest out of Leenock this time. Not sure if he'll try and bust HerO or not, but I guess considering the map is Daybreak, we got to also go back in time where this is before the era like 4-base games really were a thing. We saw this revisited barely. We saw some like turtley games, but for the most part, like, getting a 4th on this map meant this was going like really late game. This is going like Broodlords and like 40 minutes long, right? Like,
oh dear God. Yeah, PvZ was always, I think, a little more interesting, especially because of the era and time which Daybreak was most popular, so not the Dream Pool, was a lot about Broodlord Infestors. So, like, I could, like, probably tell you if we're watching a TVZ in that era exactly what was going to happen, same as I could do it on a Hana, because it just was, like, so predictable. But PvZ was a little more interesting on Daybreak, and of course the new patch and the new expansion makes it a much more interesting matchup overall, in my opinion.
Well, at least we hope it will. Because the way
No,
things are
Legacy of the Void already has.
well, I'm just saying the way things are going, if this is just going to be Hydras all day, every day, I'm not going to be loving this.
Well, maybe there's that. Thing is that Ling Hydra into eventual lurkers with a couple of roaches added on was that's the biggest thing, I suppose, is that Zerg can kind of do what they did and it's just better. So I already went over that yesterday. Point is, HerO's gonna try and do what Protoss does, but maybe just hope that timing works out a little bit better. The tricks still work out okay. A depth attack into the third base, alright, so useful.
They're doing a pretty considerable amount of damage. Both the queens going down with very little hesitation. The drones are pulled, but a little bit late. Lings are kind of coming out now. We got the banelings popping too. He's gonna try and focus them down. He pulls back. The hits aren't bad, but the surface area for these lings is not there. Like surrounding these adepts just isn't happening.
No, it's not. So they're getting that obnoxious amount of damage done. It's not devastating, but it's lasting a very long time, and it is actually getting some good damage done. But we actually had lings drop into the natural, or I think banelings drop into the natural.
Oh, wasn't paying attention over here. Neither was HerO. So yeah, some losses taken. That being said, though, this adepts still haven't been cleaned up. Another queen goes down, transfers off over the natural. He finally gets rid of these adepts. Who took more damage at the end of the day? Leenock. But he's still sitting on 50 drones, so it's not the end of the world for him.
Yeah, he lost 4 more drones. I mean, that's like,
HerO's income initially was doing pretty good too, especially with some of the starter damage with the drones being transferred around. But Leenock having 2,300 minerals per minute, you think he's going to be just dandy.
Yeah, Leenock is... See, the thing about the adept...
no.
Okay, that's actually really nice. Adepts going down there, too.
They should not have been out in the open like that.
No, they shouldn't. I mean, they're going to try and protect both bases, but there just weren't enough of them to do the whole, stay in the middle, hope that it works out. HerO charges them out, though, so that cleans the lings out from the third base, which is important, because HerO needs that saturated very soon, but the whole thing about adepts, and as we see more adepts go down there, too, is that even if they kill enough drones for the Protoss to be ahead, it's only for a limited amount of time, and you sacrifice the army to do that. So the follow-up isn't immediate, and it's not that scary. And Leenock has time to recover, and in this case, of course, go to Hydras.
Well, the Oracle tries to go back in and doesn't get much, but tosses that revelation down. Scouting's never too bad, especially when you're looking to follow it up with an attack, and there's going to be some adepts. However, Hydras are on the way. They've got the weapon upgrades, and they're going to be assisted by a couple of lings in the front. Last game, we got to see the Hydras picked off in the middle of the map because Leenock was just kind of out of position, and they were freebies. But even then, HerO wasn't able to capitalize off that. I kind of feel like this is a situation now where he's not going to get those freebies, and he's super not going to capitalize off that. I didn't check, by the way. Is this double elimination or single elimination?
Single.
Okay, so there's no losers bracket to fall back to either.
Yeah. It makes sense because there's 3 qualifiers.
Korea hype?
Yeah, very high. Anyway, the army is not a bad army, right? Like, Archons and Adepts against Lings and Hydras totally works out, but the problem is, of course, the size of the army and the availability of Warpin. So the Warp Wisdom is here, just not on the front lines quite yet, and he's distracting.
This is a really great distraction, too. He's brought the entire army all the way to the main. Now this moves into the third, and there's very little here to stop him. Adepts actually managed to transfer through and join the main army, so now HerO's got a very mighty fighting force. He's going to be able to force field out some of these Hydras, too, if he'd like. Guardian Shield at the very least, but Archons are just getting trucked from so far away.
Yeah, the Hydra range really showcasing its benefits here. You can see just... Even if HerO wants to engage into the Hydras, he has to chase after him a little bit first, as Leenock is on creep, of course, and defensively, this is the highlight area of the Hydras. So 16 drones still go down, but it only leaves him at 47, which is not terrible.
No, this went from pretty good to pretty bad. Now HerO doesn't have really any army to fall back on, which is the most alarming part of this. Back at home, even if he starts all the Warpins right now, he still needs to wait for that Storm. He still needs to buy time, and I don't know if he's going to have enough time. There's 40 seconds on Storm he's going to have to wait for.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is that they will Banelings quite yet, since Baneling speed has only just started. Baneling boost has only just started.
The Stasis Trap might just be a saving grace. Of course, the attack's going to go down here to the south, but again, as long as the Templar get time for that energy, those Storms will kill the Banelings. Those Storms will wreck the Hydras. That much hasn't changed about this.
No, that's true. The Banelings, I guess he is going to wait for more Banelings, even though Banelings he was nowhere close to finishing. I think he could have just, capped, used the Hydras to break down this wall, for instance.
You mean the Baneling boost?
Without too much. Yeah, exactly. So the gateways are going to go down, and the Adept are just like, God, like, I feel like it...
It's just not working.
Like, well, yeah, okay, it's not
Oh
working.
my god, that Templar couldn't even get a Storm off. It got picked off immediately. 7 range on these Hydras is insane to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't feel like that should be, like, the significant amount of, like, oh my god, this makes Hydras OP, but watching against Adepts, it does. It's just, like, the Adept has to walk forward a little tiny bit, and they already have such, like, a slow attack speed, right? It just looks kind of... Oh, I don't know, like Adepts?
I'm wondering, like, we've seen 2 instances now, foreigners and Koreans all going for Storms, and I don't think Storms are a bad reaction, but I do wonder where Colossus measure up to this. With with the extended Thermal Lance, is that range enough to beat out the Hydras?
That's a good question, because when the Hydras even, like, they were not usually that great at sniping them, not like Marauders, but with the extra range, maybe they are more like Marauders, so does it also help versus Colossus-based armies? I don't think we ever really will get a chance to know because Protoss aren't getting to Colossus.
Well, GG's get called, and Leenock is going to lock down a 2-0 to start the bracket. So poor ex-Liquid hero will be knocked out, and he'll have to wait to come back tomorrow to try and qualify again. That being said, there's a lot of games and some players already advancing. I don't know what we're going to get into next, but if we get stuck waiting, TY versus Leenock will not be a bad match to have to wait for. We also have Maru possibly versus Dream in the next round. Quite a few interesting matchups on the way. Like we said, there's going to be a lot of TVT potentially in this tournament, guys. Trap versus Rogue could also be really good. I don't know. But we're going to go to our first commercial break of the day, so I hope you watch these ads. For those who don't know, Twitch is giving all creators, all broadcasters, all partners 50% additional ad revenue from here till the end of the year, so we really do appreciate you guys watching these commercials. We'll see you soon.